Anyway, so Bruno said, pull in! The lake! Come on! How small is your camper, he said. Well, it's actually quite a big one. So. Biggest market fail in the history of marketing. The Italian rule, you can't have gelato over lunchtime?
No, the Italian rule is it's always time for gelato.
What are you talking about?
We're Andre and Lisa. We quit our jobs in 2018 and started our life of full-time travel. 2020 COVID hit the world and we got stuck in South Africa. We spent our time creating the perfect travel destination filter, but now we're ready for the next adventure again.
By a bicyclist. Professional.
What's happening with my hat?
So as always, good morning boys and girls. Good morning guys. It's a lovely little path here. We're just exploring this morning. We're in Alzano still. Let me just see if I can get the microphones uncovered.
New path this morning.
Yeah, it's a new path, so we're hopefully not going to get lost. We're just going to go for a quick run before, it's now 8 o'clock, just before 8 or about.
That's cool. I think maybe we should get one of those. Those look like less work than bicycles.
Or running.
Or running.
Okay, you ready to go?
Alright,
let's go do it. Yeah, it's a lovely little park here. Benches, trees, besides the river. It feels rural.
Yeah.
But it's not because there's a highway next to it.
We made it.
Alright, so right next to the road. We'll come back to this spot. This is nice. And if we're really brave, we can go for a dip.
I think it's a good idea next time.
Seeing we had to drive down to the river, although it's just 5 minutes away, we might as well just pop into the shop quickly for the water. Doesn't glass. Something done.
What are you looking at?
Is that Einstein or old Italian lady?
It says Wiz Art. I'm not sure.
Looks like it's going to rain, but a little bit of sun peeking through right now. We're trying to find our way to the local market here.
It's the fourth Wednesday that we've tried to get to this market, and every Wednesday it rains, or we sleep late.
Oh, we're lazy. Well, actually, we're
not yet.
late because it's now 12:15, and I think the market's only until 1, maybe.
Yes.
Or was it
until
12?
1 o'clock. No, it's until 1. I did double check that.
Oh, shh.
We have 5 more minutes.
Okay, well.
Well, that's a bit disappointing. Okay, 5 minutes. Let's go market.
The guys are packing up, unfortunately.
Well,
I think we officially missed the market. Can't believe it. They only open until 12:30. It's 12:30 right now. Man, yep, everybody's packing up. Oh, this sucks. Oh my god, look. I love you.
Long face.
I just want to say, I did caution Lisa and I said, you better hurry up because the same thing's going to happen. You can't leave the home at 12 o'clock and expect to get to a market in time. These guys are packing up.
Everybody's packed up.
They've been here since 7:30, so you can't really blame them. That's a bummer. Now what? Biggest market fail in the history of marketing. 10 minutes later we left because everybody packed up and went home.
This leaves only one thing left to do.
Go home?
Gelato.
The Italian rule, you can't have gelato over lunchtime.
No, the Italian rule is it's always time for gelato. Get our masks on our arms like good Italians.
Let's go look for ice cream. Look at this little guy.
Wow,
Oh, that's a camper.
bad.
Yeah, the place is a little bit quiet. 12:30, everything just shuts down. You know?
Of everything.
This is what it looks like. Shop's closed. Sorry, pal. Come back at 3:30. No, not
3:30.
3:30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nothing else going on here. So let's stay optimistic.
Wait, isn't this it? This is it.
Ah, yes.
Which one's it called?
Nino Albaccio.
La Perla.
Right. You want to
Oh,
say?
this looks so good. You know the only thing that has to happen first?
Oh, frick. Wait, I know what's gonna happen first.
No, you don't. Don't you
Take my mask off, quickly.
No, don't do it.
Take my mask off. Let me help you there, darling.
You know what has to happen first? You know what else happen first?
This is luckily a nice and cool day, so
This looks so good.
I don't have to
Why
worry.
is mine double the size?
Yes, why is that? Okay, so very strange looking guy coming our way. Cross over. Look, guys. Over.
Wow, pear granita is like frozen pear juice, and the chocolate one is just pure cocoa. It's absolutely delicious.
The chocolate looks amazing. Okay, can I taste?
Yes, you can. Taste the pear first. It's just like frozen pear. It's really good.
No, turn. You make it so bloody hard.
I don't know how to hold it. I'm not used to feeding someone.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's good, eh?
Well, that was nice. Still nothing going on, and I've got no idea where we are. Well, actually, I know where we are. I just don't know where we parked.
That way.
We're going to head up to a camper and talk a little bit about our improvements, ideas, lessons we've learned.
Think back a little bit about what we've done to the camper and what we're really happy about, what our favorite things are, and maybe also some things that we still want to do.
Cool. See you guys there. Welcome back to Milli Vanilli, guys. Like we said earlier, we decided we're going to take this week after our shakedown trip. Shakedown trip?
Was it much of a shakedown?
No shaking. Let me bring you closer. Okay, let's try not to shake the camera. There were like 3 categories for this week's video. We will not be traveling in the van for the next week or so because we have stuff we have to deal with, lots of admin. So we're taking this opportunity to do a few minor tweaks. That will be in the next video. Things we think we still need and maybe want to change, and hopefully we'll get to before we hit the road again. So right now we thought we'll come to Millie and we'll sit down and we'll talk about 3 different things. Improvements we made that's functional, that we really love, and that truly makes a difference to living in the van. Additions, things we added to make our lives easier, and the last one just purely aesthetics. Trying to make it less 1920s.
Less gross.
No, wait, it's 1990s. So this is a 2001 van, and the reality is that these vans were all just looking the same.
For about a 10-year period, these vans pretty much look the same. They've got these horrible floral interiors and, like you say, a lot of wood, and the layout, everything's just very similar. If you walk into a van somewhere within that, I don't know, 20 or 50 years span, you kind of have a good idea of what it's going to look like. After our little shakedown trip, we've had a bit of time to also reflect on what we did. Things didn't turn out as we planned because we ended up doing these renovations and upgrades before we left.
Let's kick off with functional changes. What do you got?
Of course, we had to go function before form. So the first and very important thing is the vans of this era do not come with built-in mosquito net. The first thing that was on our list, but that ended up being the last thing that we did, was we installed a mosquito screen for the door. We installed one that's got magnets, and this is just, every time we use it, we say we are so happy for having this. Last time we did 4 months without it in the old camper.
We sort of improvised this weird curtain thing, but such a disaster as you enter the door. Very happy with what we've done. In fact, we were looking at the new vans now, and sliding doors,
concertina style net doors,
or like full sizes, or some of them actually clip into the door itself. It sounds great, but there's a practical aspect where every time maybe you're carrying something, you need to open it, slide it, and also vans with big sliding doors, that's a real problem. Now, I know the idea of van lifing sounds great, but in summer, mosquitoes is a challenge, and not only mosquitoes,
also just flies and bugs, and especially in the evening, moths. You have these long evenings where you maybe want to be inside the van with the lights on, but you still want the door open for fresh air.
All these Instagram idyllic shots where the couple's lying in the back of the van with the projector on and watching a movie with the doors open. No.
Swatting bugs. I have to say, this is one of the things that for me, van life seems so idyllic like that. And I love the idea of a big sliding door in a van. Smaller door, and definitely with a mosquito net, most practical. Number 2 is...
Why is this number 2?
Why is this number 2? I had it at number 5. You made me move it up the list.
Okay, what do we got?
We had to raise the bed in this van in order to be able to lengthen it for Andre to fit on the bed. I mean, that's not important, surely. Do you know how many people sleep in the fetal position?
I encourage you to try out the fetal position, but I'm 1.9 meters tall. That's
I'm 1.5, so for me it's really no issue.
This van is actually pretty spacious. I can stand up quite comfortably throughout, but the bed is just super tight. We had to make a plan. The only way to practically make it work was to raise the bed by about 120 mils. Now it actually gives us access to the bottom to fit an extra piece of mattress in, so it can come down to about 2 meters, 2.1 meters.
It's 2.1 meters long now, so it's actually really a proper length bed now. The other advantage that raising the bed gave us is that it gave us a lot more space in the garage underneath the bed.
Even though the opening to the garage hasn't increased, we can actually put our little folding bicycles inside the garage now.
It's amazing what 120 mil gives you in terms of volume in a big garage area like that.
Yes, we did learn that when you raise the bed, comes potentially with some other complications or trade-offs. Because we have these overhead cabinets, you come a little bit closer to them, and also we come closer to the windows, so those are things that we also had to think about.
We didn't raise it too much, so you can still comfortably sit up on the bed, because that was always important for me. Usually in the beds that are above cab, there's very little space above the bed, and there's nothing worse than waking up in the night with a startle and bashing your head on the ceiling. Number 3 is counter space. Because we've got 3 gas burners and a fairly big sink, there's really almost no counter space except for the table, the dinette table area.
You quickly realize that even something as simple as making coffee becomes a challenge, because now you lift the cover to the stove top, and I got literally nowhere to put 2 cups down. Most modern vans actually is planned a little bit better, so they make little L-shaped kitchens.
Or even you can lift and open one burner, not the others, but that isn't the case here.
Obvious things to do is you make a little cover for the sink.
And it's even better if it doubles as a pizza board.
The 2 things we did was we actually took a pizza board we bought off the shelf, quite thick. It's not really a pizza board, I guess it's a...
No, it is a pizza board. It's not a pizza
chopping
panel,
board,
it's a
but
pizza
it's
board.
a pizza board that fits our sink. Super convenient to create a bit of extra space. And if we really need to go crazy, we got an off-the-shelf bamboo board,
which is a really
board.
Stunning piece of board in itself.
Fits perfectly over the stove when the stove cover is closed, and we fitted these fold-down brackets that stays in place with magnets in case you want to move this board and create extra counter space. I've used it a few times now, and it's really incredible. The only challenge is getting in and out the door. So either you're out.
No, having that extra counter space really makes a huge difference for food preparation. Talking of food.
Oh yes.
Number 4, which is going to be my number 1.
Why we need this extra food preparation areas
is that we installed an oven. Now, if you've been watching a lot of van lifing or keep an eye on vans, you'll know that most British camper vans come with a built-in oven.
All British camper vans come with ovens.
For some reason in Europe, that's not the case.
Well, let's be honest. We need to give the poor Brits something because the weather's so atrocious.
They got to keep their van warm.
So they got to stay inside the van more. So they need to be able to prepare food inside.
Whereas the Italians are always outside enjoying the good nature and doing things. So I don't think they're ever inside cooking. I'm not sure. But we've always said that it would be so nice to have a van inside the oven, just to be able to mix up.
Inside the oven.
Sorry.
We're gonna get a little van and put it inside the oven. That's
We've
inside
got a
our
really
van.
big oven in which we put the van in.
And if we get a van that's inside the oven, we'll get an oven inside the van inside the oven.
You want a cooked van, right?
What?
A cooked inside the oven. Okay. Just gives you a little bit more options of variety for food preparation, especially when you're living in a van full time. It's very different if you're holidaying in a camper van. It's probably not a necessity at all. But if you're going to be living full time in your van, an oven is fantastic. Now, there are alternative options that we considered. The stovetop oven, or there's also an air fryer, things like that. But we happened to find a perfect little convection oven, which fits it under the bed once we raised it.
Look, we've used it once or twice, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, it's not the ideal thing to use inside your van in summer.
No.
We have come to realize that. I remember the previous time we traveled with our van, you tend to sort of gravitate to the same foods over and over, and that's fine in summer. You make some salads and you grill something, some fish, which you don't want to do inside the van anyway. But you know what would be great? Just to roast some veggies. Ooh. Or even just bake a little piece of fresh bread, because we have flour and we have yeast, and so you can actually bake your own bread, which is great. The jury is still out on the long-term usability of the oven in the van, because obviously you are dependent on electricity.
Number 5 is a very practical one. It doesn't really have much of an aesthetic function at all. We installed some polycarb protectors on the sides of our blinds to protect the edges of the blinds, because these built-in blinds in the vans are very, very fragile, particularly along the edges. And because of raising the bed, we just feel like we're that much closer to the blinds over the bed area. In fact, we found them so functional that we think we're going to add 2 more in the living space as well, because it just gives you that peace of mind protecting the blind edges.
Now, these blinds take a lot of bashing, and it clear polycarb strips adds a lot of functionality, and we just plonked them on with some Velcro.
So they're removable.
Yeah.
We were a little bit concerned about cutting them, but it went very well.
No, it's awesome. Fantastic. It's quick and easy and super cheap actually to do.
So that's our best 5 functional aspects of the van, but I've got one bonus one which I have to sneak in. The bonus one for me is the one that wasn't intentional. It was a bit of a necessity, unexpected necessity, I might add. If you'll look on our first video, you'll see our kitchen tap exploded the first time we put the water pump on.
Okay, maybe exploded is a bit dramatic.
It's leaking, it's leaking, it's leaking. Switch it off.
And actually this ruined our first trip a little bit. We had to cancel our first away trip and had to go hunt for a tap. But yes.
But the silver lining of that is that we got a new kitchen tap, which is a flexible tap with a nice little nozzle, and I'm really happy.
I think Lisa sabotaged the first tap because she said she doesn't like it.
I didn't sabotage it, I promise, but I was very happy secretly. So we got a great kitchen tap. It's also a functional improvement.
Okay, the next category is additions we've made. Now, up till now, everything sounds like additions, but it's mostly just functional changes, and
it's really part of the van.
Yeah. So when we talk about additions, it's things we added, either improved our quality of living in the van. The first thing is a solar power bank. These vans, as most motorhomes and camper vans, come factory fitted with a second battery or a leisure battery. It doesn't actually give you household power, so you still need to plug an inverter into that 12 volt, and you only get household power when you connect your shore power. So the second battery is primarily to cover your light requirements, your water pump. Theoretically you can run the fridge off it because it's a 3-way fridge, but it's super inefficient. And one of the first things we learned, we used electronics quite extensively, is to keep them charged as a battery. We decided to remove the leisure battery component completely from our electronic requirements, and we got the solar battery base. We've got the EcoFlow River Pro Max, and
really
so far
impressed with it.
It's a fantastic piece of kit. Super fast to charge from mains power. It charges all our devices very comfortably, and you can actually get an external battery bank to plug into it if you want to expand its capacity. One very critical thing for us is to be physically able to secure our valuables. So we fitted a little lockbox, a proper safe that's bolted to the chassis to put our passports and wallets and stuff like that. Now this old van, it's got factory fit immobilizer, but there's no physical barrier, so we fitted a steering lock which is quite serious. It's a little bit of a deterrent, a GSM linked or cell phone linked alarm system, and you're going to be able to leave your van with confidence that you're going to return to it and all your valuables will still be there. Thirdly,
oh, this one I'm surprised is not number 1 on your list.
I've already annoyed everybody around us with this thing, and
somebody thinks that I've got my hairdryer on permanently.
We are quite careful, and we actually don't try not to wear shoes inside the van, so we got outside inside vibe going. It's not always practical, but it's like you trample in dirt and there's always stuff. We prioritize getting a very, very powerful, portable, rechargeable vacuum cleaner.
There's an absolute value in having a vacuum cleaner that you can get into small spaces with, and that's powerful enough and that you can use whether you're plugged in or not. You found this vacuum cleaner. I was thinking, is it worth the price? After day 1, we already said this was so worth it. Super happy with it.
What's nice about this one, obviously we can charge it off our solar bank, and it charges quite quickly. It probably gives you about 15-20 minutes continuous use, which we never do.
It's just so easy to grab the way we've put it in the van.
Okay, moving on to the next one was monitoring systems. So this is also safety and security related, and this is still a work in progress. We have gas. I'm not a huge fan of gas, but
you can't really escape it.
Eventually maybe we'll move on to induction or something, but the fridge conversion is so expensive. So the fridge theoretically runs off gas, so obviously we have a fire alarm, a smoke alarm. We also have a CO2 detector, and that's also important if you have a gas system to ensure that there's no buildup of poisonous gases. We've also added, which is probably more peace of mind from a vehicle point of view, is a tire pressure monitoring system.
That if you can glance up, know the temperature of your tires as well as the pressure. It's just a good peace of mind when you're driving.
Yeah. Often we've felt like, is it my imagination or is it feeling a bit squiggly? And it's just a road. because you can just glance up and see the pressure on your toes. Last one.
Number 5 is the fan. We do have air conditioning in the living space of the vehicle. Unfortunately, we don't have air conditioning in the front cab. For that reason that we bought ourselves a little USB fan to be able to use in the front of the cab. But as it turns out, I think we've used it more in the back of the cab than we have in the front. Sometimes you just want a little bit of air movement. You have got your windows open, but you are cooking inside, or you're just chilling out.
Yeah, the air conditioner is fine in theory, and I think if you have shore power, we've actually tried it once just to see what it's like, and it was quite nice when it was humid and really hot. But generally speaking, especially if you're cooking something also, you want to just create a bit of ventilation. So the USB fan is a great addition.
We've made 3 places where we've got a bracket to put the fan, and we can just move it around and plug it in wherever we want to use it.
Are we going to move on to?
Aesthetics. This is my favorite part. Number 1 for me absolutely has to be the reupholstery. Look at the beautiful modern grey, and also our new table covering on the van. Getting rid of all that blue and this horrible orangey table has just made the world of difference to the van. It looks like it comes from a different century.
One has to wonder whether it's really worth your while. I think the upholstery quality was quite good.
It was, and it wasn't in bad condition either.
It's not bad condition. Yes, the color scheme's a bit drab and old, and you guys can see even the countertops, even at the kitchen, it's got this yellow vibe to it, and everything looks like this mustardy wood cabin thing. So Lisa insisted, let's just give it a go, and I think it made a huge improvement.
Yes.
I'm actually quite happy with the table. Initially, when we did the reveal video, we sat down and we said it wasn't successful, but surprisingly, the table is actually sort of settled a bit. You've got to be watchful you don't drop sharp objects on it.
I don't think it's going to last as long as maybe a proper table covering would, but we can just replace it. Second to that was all the yellow and gold in this van. Now, you'll remember when you walked in here, I don't think you even saw the gold for all the blue and yellow, but the bathroom in particular had this bright yellow plastics
but
everywhere.
It's summery and so cheerful.
Every single light is this bling peeling gold fitting. It was just horrendous. The change that it makes getting rid of that, spraying all the yellow grey.
This is one of the things when you walk into the modern new motorhomes, you can see there's the quality of bathroom fittings, basins.
So much more modern.
So much more modern, and we can't exactly escape sort of that plastic vibe unless we rip out the whole bathroom, which is not something we want to do. We could try to make it easy on the eye.
And having that yellow now in a grey colour, initially I thought the grey was a little bit too light, but when we actually put all those items in the bathroom, I think it matches perfectly, and I'm very happy with that.
Every time I go in the bathroom now, I smile.
And then number 3 is another big one, which you can see all around us all the time. It's one of the things that, for instance, for me, I didn't think it was top priority at all. It was something Andre wanted to do from the word go. He just said, we have to spray these cabinets white and get rid of all the wood look. I was a little bit hesitant. It not only makes the van look more modern, but it does bring a little bit more light in.
For sure.
And it just ties in the little bit of woodenness and the old schoolness.
It almost makes the overwhelming wood more bearable. The wood becomes more of a trim than the main feature. And the white really brightens up the space, especially considering that we added some mirrors, went for lighter upholstery and brought in some grey and replaced the yellow. It was actually easier than I initially thought. I had my reservations. It wasn't that big a job. The next one is one of my favorite improvements.
Oh, I didn't realize it was as important to you. I thought it was only me who had bothered. The first thing I said when we got in this van, I said, we need to get rid of these curtains and the curtain rails everywhere. There's curtain rails everywhere.
You guys need to understand that in these old motorhomes, certain curtains has a functional application, like these. This is for, you know,
a little bit of
privacy, and these aren't so horrid. You can actually stomach these. It's a color coded with the upholstery, firstly, and they're used for other reasons. So
the thing is, these vans are made for family sleeping, so you can understand that they do have a function. But when you're only 2 people living in the van,
rip it out.
Oh man, that curtain just bothered me so much. We also added blinds for the bathroom and the kitchen, which is really nice. A Venetian style blind. We were a little bit hesitant to this because obviously traveling in a van, they do swing and things like that. We didn't know how functional it will be, and being able to just get privacy but regulate your light, and it also makes the space look very modern.
It's like we pull them up when we drive off anyway. In fact, we're considering maybe fitting more blinds, but we can't quite make up our mind because the windows are so big.
Okay, the last one is an aesthetical one, but it's also functional. You see, this one actually, really goes between the two. This is a crossover.
It's functional, it's an addition,
and it's aesthetic. This one fits all categories. Okay, that's great, because so this one is the conversion of all the lights in the van to LED.
Yeah, I think firstly, apart from the fact that we physically change the color of the light fittings from gold to white. The lights themselves are almost all fluorescent, and
There's a very yellow light.
it creates this. Look, some people like that warm light, as obviously. So if you do an LED conversion, you have to be aware that there's different colors, and some of it can be very cold and harsh. So if you prefer a more natural light, you
can choose that.
You can make sure you get the right kind of color. We prefer more of a white light, softer white light, as long as it's not yellow. It improves the look because not everything is basking in this yellow glow.
Also, with a white light, you can have a little bit less lighting and actually have a lighter effect. It depends also what you want your lighting for, but if you're wanting it for working or things like that, for us a white light's more functional.
In terms of the existing fittings, we just simply converted them all to LED. We just did it one morning. I think it took us about an hour to do the whole van, and we just used LED strips and wire it straight into the 12-volt supply. And
Helps if you have a soldering iron.
yeah, it helps you with a soldering iron, but it's actually not even that big a deal. One forgets that you do use the lights quite longer than you think every day. There's always a light or 2 or 3 lights even on. Even if we switch every single light on in the van, it still draws less power
Than a single
one
one.
light, which is great. We're not done with lights yet, because we've also realized we want to add, because we removed the curtains in the front of the cab, and we actually have that space now, but there's no lights in the evening in the front cab, so we're planning on putting another LED light that's dimmable in the front. We're probably going to do another little strip light for some mood lighting that's also dimmable, you know, so you don't have harsh lights in your eyes when you just lie in bed and read or something.
So seeing as you took LED lighting and said that this is the crossover from function, addition and aesthetic, I'm going to have to add one more bonus one to our aesthetic, and that's got to be the mirrors. We added 2 really big mirrors, one on the bathroom door and one above the bed, and the amount of light that these mirrors let in, and it allows the van to feel so much more spacious that we've got so used to it already, we don't realize it, but the first time anybody else walks into the van, they're, oh my god, you add mirrors. And that mirrors are aesthetically an incredible improvement to the van.
Exactly, guys. There you got it. We went through functional and additions and aesthetic, and there's actually many more which we can't get to. But if you go to a few videos back, we might point out a few more. But seriously, we've done so much, and we might actually do another video, or in the next video we might do 1 or 2 more. Like I said, things we're still planning or busy with, and things it's on our wish list.
We're definitely going to do a little bit more reflecting on Milli Vanilli.
Anyway, we're gonna get out of here, and we'll see you guys later. Bye. You obviously were drinking too fast.
I didn't get as much.
That's impossible.
I got this much.
It's late afternoon. Lisa's complaining, but she already drank all her beer. And
I never get any beer. I just get like a little taster.
Well, hello guys, we're back again. Sort of nearing the end of the day. A long day actually at the campo, but I think we're going to wrap up the video here. Mostly because we've got other responsibilities.
Sorry, I can't.
What's so funny? There's something wrong with my face.
Well.
Okay, don't answer that. Anyway, we have other responsibilities, which is exhausting us.
Yep, we
Daisy! Daisy! Spoiler alert.
We got a dog.
Or did we? You have to
Is
wait.
it a dog?
Is it a dog?
That's the question.
It's a confused alien-looking creature.
It's a pig dog red.
What? Is that a dog or... Dog, pig, dog, pig, dog, pig, dog, pig, dog, loaf of bread, system error.
Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and next time we will probably still be in Alzano. Well, hopefully we're going to make a day trip out to Milan. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the weather's going to be good. If not, we're probably going to make a few improvements in the van. We've got a few things lined up, quite a few interesting gadgets, putting more lights in. We're changing the gas system to a refillable system.
Maybe even looking at water filter. Next week we'll tell you the 5 reasons why we bought this van, what we like about it, the best things about the van itself before our improvements, just characteristics, and we'll also tell you 5 more things that we're going to do to improve the van.
Interesting times, like oh jeez, I think our pet just caught something. Oh god, it just ate a lizard. Oh
Daisy, no!
No, I think it got away. Guys, thanks for watching, and
Give us a like, leave us a comment.
see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Ciao.
Bye. What's your name, little dude?
Daisy.
What's your name? What's your name? My name's Daisy. I'm a naughty, naughty little dog.
Daisy boo.
Daisy. Daisy Bo. Daisy Bo.
Really not funny. This is terrible.
What's the sign of brain damage?
Tubeless.
Then you're speaking, you should be concerned.